Hey, everybody, I'm meteorologist Sean Sublette over at the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and I'm here with my buddy Michael Phillips, sports director of the RTD, getting an NFL championship weekend, and we want to talk about weather and NFL playoffs. There have been some real epic weather, we'll call them disasters, but situations where the weather really played a role. We identified three games specifically that we want to go through. We'll start with this one, which I think of as the Snow Bowl, also known as the Tuck Rule game. And this was the Raiders at the Patriots in January of 2002. 3 to 4 inches of snow. So it wasn't that much snow for New England, but this really kind of rewrote some record books, didn't it, Michael?
It launched the legend of Tom Brady. This is, when his career is on the ascent. For the Raiders, they think they're about to start something good. Instead, John Gruden bounces to Tampa Bay, wins a Super Bowl there, changes the arc of three NFL franchises, and rewrites the rules. Tom Brady tucking the ball back in at the time. That does not count as a fumble. The Raiders think they've won the game. The Patriots celebrate in the snow. The snow just makes everything bigger, right? Like you got a great game, then you got a little snow on top of that. It looks even better.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an epic amount of snow. It was 3 or 4 inches, alas, in the afternoon or evening. But when everything times out just the right way, you get something that makes history. Another piece of history, this is a number 2 on our list, the Eagles at the Bears in December of '88, the Fog Bowl. It is the only time in any football I ever remember watching that there was this much fog in any game, much less a significant playoff game. And this was still a very big time. We had Ditka and Buddy Ryan was coaching the Eagles. Man, there's some big personalities at this game, weren't there, Michael?
The Bears.
Yeah,
I'd say you have to be there, but you didn't have to be there. You couldn't have seen anything if you were there. You couldn't see anything on TV. It was the greatest game nobody ever saw. And then a little fun fact for you on that Bears defense, Ron Rivera, who coaches the Washington Commanders now, he's out there celebrating with those guys. I guess you don't throw long. I don't know how you adjust your strategy there. A lot of running the ball because maybe you throw it long and you count on nobody being able to see you down there. I don't know. That's a fascinating one.
Yeah, you're not going to throw a lot of 60-yard passes, 40-yard passes. Just a short passing game is all you're going to be able to do there. But, I went back and looked at how this set up because, Soldier Field is effectively right on Lake Michigan. And for 2 or 3 days before this, it had been cold, but it had also been very damp. The ground was wet. So you've got this wet ground that's in the upper 20s and low 30s, but the wind had been from the west, from the land to the lake. Then that wind backed off that morning. In the afternoon, the direction the winds shifted so that you've got water that's like 40 degrees, like Michigan's 40 degrees. So the air over that's 40 degrees. That then wafts over the much colder, damp land, and boom, you've got fog. And then like this 30, 31, 32 degree fog for 5 or 6 hours before it finally dissipated. But yeah, that's not a game I will ever forget because my roommate in college was a huge Eagles fan. And anytime I would say the word fog, he would use some expletives. So it was quite the experience. But I think this one is truly the epic one. Number 1 on our list, the NFL championship game, December 31st, 1967. Sing along if you know the words, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. So talk through some of the epic parts of the game here, Michael.
John Facenda calling it for NFL Films, the Warriors of the Gridiron. A lot of people don't realize the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field is not frozen. There's actually heating coils underneath it. But this, they didn't work that day.
Yeah.
It was just too cold. Hit me with the temperature. It was just, the numbers here are staggering. Like that they even played this game at all is wild. This isn't just cold. This is obscenely cold.
This is, as another roommate of mine once said, stupid cold. I mean, there's just no sense in it being this cold. But, the kickoff temperature at 1 o'clock was about 13 below zero, the actual air temperature. And there was a gusty north wind effectively all day. This is one of these situations where the Arctic air was racing out of Canada, right? So the high temperature there in Green Bay was 6 degrees first thing in the morning. And then it fell all day long. So during all of this game, the actual temperature was sliding through the minus teens. The wind, 15, 20 miles an hour. The wind chill for this game throughout the game was in the minus 30s. That was what the wind chill was. And literally, frostbite can set in 15, 20, 25 minutes in that level of cold. And I showed you this before. These are the people in the stands. This looks
What
like
are they
some
thinking?
post-apocalyptic horror movie, doesn't it?
And,
Um,
and they're a hardier breed than we are up there in Green Bay. You wouldn't catch me anywhere near that stadium.
but as you mentioned, there's a heating system for the field, but apparently it failed. And when they took the tarp off the field, there was still a little dampness, moisture, water on it. And then, of course, in minus 13, that freezes almost instantly, which is why the playing surface got so slick. And I'm assuming that's why it all got to be known as the ice ball. So I think
What
that's number one on our list. Last fun fact, I was looking this up. Apparently, it was so cold the refs couldn't use their whistles; they had to like scream at the end of every play. So that's it for our top three. If you've got something on your list, ping us on Twitter. We'll have those coming up in a moment. But let's take a look real quick at what's coming up this weekend for the NFL Championship weekend. Bengals Chiefs first. Who do you like, Michael?
Yeah, well, I've always said you like it when your quarterback has two functioning legs, not one. And unfortunately, the Chiefs are not in that situation this week. Patrick Mahomes has the high ankle sprain. Tough dude, he's going to play through it.
Yeah.
But you got to think he's limited. The Bengals are hot right now. That's a really good team. And you're going back to the weather. One of the things that pro athletes are very particular about is the cleats they wear, how long the cleats are, what type of cleats they wear, what type of surface it is. Is it turf? Is it a short grass? Is it a long grass? I'd be curious. The Chiefs obviously don't have the speed advantage this week. Do they try to muddy it up, overwater the grass, slow the Bengals down, try to make them play a 7-3 type of game? But I think in the end, you got to pick the Bengals here.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward the Bengals as well. I mean, I was checking the weather situation there for the game, and it's going to be in the teens or low 20s, and they're going to have a wind that's going 10, 15 miles an hour as well. So again, those are not the optimum conditions for a passing game either. And Mahomes' foot's just not good. So I'm with you. I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. Niners, Eagles. Who do you like here, Michael?
I think the Eagles are maybe the most fun team left in the playoffs. If
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts is cruising, that's a really fun offense to watch. But if the ceiling's high, the floor is low. These guys, they can lay a dud on any given week too. I just think the Niners, Brock Purdy, I don't know how they're doing it with Brock Purdy, but Christian McCaffrey's running the ball very well. That's a great story. That's a smart, disciplined football team. I think this will be a really, really fun game. Give me the Niners and give me Kyle Shanahan and finding that edge and exploiting it against an Eagles team that I think will have to play perfect to win.
I do think they're going to have to play well, but Brock Purdy is a rookie quarterback, and you going into Philadelphia, and the weather there isn't going to be bad for
How
this
are the
game at
fans
all.
going to be there? They're
But
going to
you
be
know how
welcoming to
look,
Brock Purdy.
Philadelphia Eagles fans are legend. I spent about 6 years in Metro Philadelphia. I was there when they won the Super Bowl, and nobody was happier than me to see the Patriots go down and see them run the Philly special. That was one of my favorite plays ever in anything. So I like the Eagles here. I think that Jalen has got it going on, and I just think a rookie quarterback coming into an environment like that is going to struggle. The ground game goes, and they're fine, but I'm taking the Eagles here. So I'm Eagles and Bengals. So with that, thank you so much for joining us for the chat. And this reminder, tell us what you think about how the game's going to play out. And if you've got a big weather memory from a football game, share it with us. Michael Phillips is on Twitter at MichaelPRTD, and I'm over at Sean Sublette. Remember, subscribe to the Richmond Times-Dispatch. And don't forget, we've got this great app, Virginia Video Network. Get all of our cool videos there. That's really easy to download and to navigate. Get it on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, as well as to the App Store and Google Play. Enjoy the games this weekend, everyone, and stay warm.